come on. Oh my god. Skewing my A or my B. I'm kind of losing hope. This is really impossible. Hey there. I know this is probably weird since the only video format I've been using is game highlights, but I wanted to try something different. And as the title suggests, this is not a review, but rather a guide as well as my personal experience with this game. And so, this video is all about if I can get an S rank on every single night in the FNAF fan game Playtime with Percy. But first, a bit of a disclaimer. I didn't actually record myself getting an S rank on the first 4 nights the first time. I got the S ranks and only thought about recording on that night. And so I recorded and beat the nights after beating the game since I had no idea how to actually get an S rank the first time around. And I tried to figure these out with my own strategies and not use any videos or guides on the internet. Also, this video is inspired by Chicken Ninja 42, so if you'd like, you can go check him out as he is one of my favorite YouTubers. And with that out of the way, let's start with a quick synopsis. So what exactly is Playtime with Percy? This game was posted on GameJolt by Fazbear, and while it was released a while ago, I had only found it pretty recently, and much like a lot of FNAF fan games out there, it's really good, and definitely takes the cake on being one of the hardest FNAF fan games I've ever played. I won't get too much into the specifics of its release, but just know it was released a pretty long while ago. Looking up the game on YouTube gets you videos from months ago, but no matter, as I wanted to make this video since it seemed like a lot of fun. I'll get into the gameplay in a second, but I'll explain the story a bit. So we play as Nick, a former Percy Poodle & Co. employee. I got fired for seemingly no reason, only to be called later by our boss who has a tempting offer of paying $200 to be a security guard. Nick's job is to watch the place, since it is being demolished and they're selling everything and it's our job to make sure no one steals anything. But we already know what happens. The place's animatronics suddenly become active and now we have to defend ourselves against them. And that's pretty much the story. I won't go too deep into it as the video goes on since it's not really the subject, but I might mention it a few more times. As for the gameplay, the nights aren't laid out in a typical survive from 12 AM to 6 AM format. There is an objective that needs to be finished, and once it's finished, the night is over, a lot like FNAF 6. We have 2 tools available, the Pal Percy, a Tamagotchi-looking thing, and the Pal Boy, the camera system. The Pal Percy is the main objective, being that we have to get enough happiness to finish the night, and once we do, the night is over. The way to do that is we have to play mini games on the Pal Percy, each one giving some happiness, which I will get to in a second. Now let us start with the first night. Now, as you just saw, the game is split into 5 days, Monday through Friday, and of course, the game gets harder with each night as more animatronics get added. On this night, the only threats that are active are Mother Moose and Charlie Cat, and they both sort of function the same way as Bonnie and Chica do in FNAF 1. They both start at the main stage and make their way to the office by going through each camera on either the left or right side. And the way they work is different from Bonnie and Chica, is that each animatronic can come from either side, meaning Charlie can come from either the left or the right side, and same thing with Mother Moose. The way to fend off both is really easy. All you have to do is put your Pal Percy or camera up when Mother Moose peeks her head, or you die, and keep both down when Charlie Cat peeks his head, or we die. And that's it. Obviously, as the first night, this night is less of a challenge and more of a tutorial to get us familiar with the environment and minigames of the Pal Percy. Speaking of which, the first minigame is where you catch dog treats, the second is where you fill Pal's water bowl, and the third is where you throw a ball for Pal to catch, and they each give a different amount of happiness in the order that they're in. So catching treats gives 1 happiness, filling the bowl gives 2 happiness, and throwing the ball gives 3 happiness. In this night, we have to get to 30 happiness, but how do I get the S rank? All we have to do is beat this night fast enough, with a time of 2 minutes and 30 seconds or under, which might sound too fast, but when you realize that you don't even have to watch the camera for these two, all you need to do is the Pal Percy, and it's pretty quick if you get used to each minigame. With 30 happiness, our shift is quickly over, and yeah, there's more. So, if it might not be obvious already, Every night has a post-night task that we need to do before the night is actually over. And Mondays is when we sell each animatronic while Charlie the cat scouts the area for us. But don't worry, all we need to do is sell each animatronic for the price the boss wants us to sell them for by declining and entering a small password to increase the price until we get the one that we want. As for Charlie, all we have to do is press the hide button when we hear him walking, and when he leaves, we have to get back up and keep selling. Halfway through, it gives us a message that Charlie gets angry, so now all we have to do is enter longer passwords, and Charlie waits longer when he walks by. And that's about it. So how do we get the S rank for this part? Oh, easy. All we need to do is only press accept when the price matches with the one that we want, and also keep them in order, as well as beat it in 2 minutes and 30 seconds or under. Wait, yep, to get an S rank in this game, for every single night, we have to beat both sections of the night within a certain amount of time, the entirety of Monday being 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which sounds impossible when you think about the difficulty increasing. But don't worry, as the time required to beat each night also increases with it. After selling and somewhat meeting each animatronic while hiding from a clown cat? Bit of a side tangent here, I have no idea about the design of Charlie, since at first I thought he was a wolf, and when you look at his pants he's a clown, and the description of him states with a cat, which I think is pretty cool since his design is also really cool. Anyways, after selling them, the night is finally over and we're rewarded with our first S rank with a time of 2 minutes and 23 seconds, and are on to the next night. Oh my god, look, it's Pizzeria Sim. They're planning on killing everybody. Man, I love bingo with grandma. Date and cry right after each other, that's funny. Alright, here we go. This is easy enough. This is the first night. Come on. Easy. Easy with 39 seconds. Easy peasy. Man, who's buying these things? Why are there so many offers? Like, for these robots, and from different people? Who wants to buy them? So why would I be here? Why would anyone subject themselves to this? Man, I want that 250. Ah! Oh, I don't think that was it. Oh, I got it. Okay, cool. Yay! Tuesday night requires us to get 35 happiness this night and finish both sections of the night with a time of 3 minutes or under. This night, we start to make use of the hallway in front of us, as well as the Simon Says machine in the corner of the screen, which is used for Farmer Felix the ferret. When he walks by the hallway in front of us, his eyes will turn a different color that we need to put in the Simon Says machine and let him walk by. And if we don't pick a color or pick the wrong color before he finishes walking by, we're dead. As for Tat, all we need to do is when we see him in the hallway, do a Pal Percy minigame and he's gone. If we take too long by either checking the cameras or not doing anything, he will disable our cameras and our Pal Percy, pretty much ending the run. Something that helps is to look above the Pal Percy button on the HUD, which will show an exclamation mark if he's in the hallway, and it will also play a squeak sound when he appears, but this might be a bit of an issue as I will explain later. With these pretty easy threats taken care of, the night is pretty much the same with a couple of extra steps that don't take that long to take care of. Something you might be noticing is that all I am doing is the Pal Percy and nothing else, which might be the best strategy when doing this challenge. All you really need to do in this game, if you're going for time, is to just fully send the Pal Percy and deal with the threats when they show up, which I will now be calling the Send It strat. This part might not be that long, but trust me, it gets way harder. With this part of the night being taken care of, let us proceed with the post-night task. After finishing his shift, Nick heads to where an arcade cabinet sits as it is about to be sold to someone in the next morning, and for some reason, instead of leaving, Nick decides that he's going to try to get the high score before it is sent out. And that's what the task is. to get the high score on the arcade game Attack of the Space Dogs, while also avoiding Mother Moose. She will be behind us, as when we hear a noise while playing the game, we turn around and flash the area with a camera, and when we do that, Mother Moose leaves and comes back later. This is really all there is to it. We play the game, kill as many things as we can, and avoid Mother Moose. Midway through the arcade game, Mother Moose becomes angry and now takes 2 flashes to get away, and she will also take less time to jump scare you. The problem this night overall is the time limit we have. 3 minutes may seem like a lot, but this task takes a while to finish, so the strategy here is to get as little of a time as possible on the first section in order to take our time on this one, since we fail if we run out of lives or die from Mother Moose. To get an S rank in this section, we have to get as many points as possible while killing as much as possible, as well as getting as many power-ups as possible. With a time of 2 minutes and 36 seconds, we move on to Wednesday. And here we go. On to night 2, or Tuesday. It's actually Tuesday today. No, it's not. It's Friday. Oh, my gourd. I'm already messing up. Oh, hey. Woo! 1 minute. Did it work? I think it worked. I'm pretty sure. I didn't see her go away, but it said flash twice. It didn't work. It did not work. I thought it said twice! It occurred to me now that I died. Yes! I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's it. Woo! I wonder what the final boss would have been. Yeah! I did it. This is where the difficulty definitely takes it up a notch. Not just because of the new threats, but also because of the AI of these guys, which I couldn't find any information on since it might not be public information. However, this game gets pretty easy to understand if you play it enough or watch videos on it, and again, I tried not to watch videos on it since I wanted to try to beat it myself. Now, as for Wednesday night, we need to get 40 happiness as well as deal with the new threats and finish the whole night in 3 minutes and 30 seconds or under. One of the animatronics added is the main antagonist of this game, Percy Poodle, who can be seen in the aforementioned hallway slowly making his way down to the door. After standing in front of the door for a little bit, he will start banging on it, after which we will click and hold on the door to lock it, and if we fail to lock it in time, we're dead. And I just wanted to add that for some reason, Percy's jump scare is really unnerving or scary or something. I don't know, there's just something about it that makes me genuinely uncomfortable. Maybe it's the scream, but this is honestly one of the best jump scares in this game for that reason. Anyways, another poodle is added named Tot, and she creaks open the office door, and if we don't click on the door before around 15 seconds, she opens the door entirely, enabling the lock to be useless, and lets Percy in. The poodles in this game are more like Balloon Boy from FNAF 2 since they can't kill us directly, but allow the other animatronics to kill us easier. And that's it. For this night, all we need to do is finish the Pal Pursues minigames using the Send It strat I mentioned earlier. And with this section done, let us move on to the After the power cuts out, Nick has to go to the electrical room and reset it all in a minigame format. All we need to do to finish this post-shift task is to place the minigames and defend ourselves from the animatronic. Who is it, you may ask? This is Rowan Rat, a new animatronic that has yet to be introduced in the main nights, and the way to deal with him here is to keep doing the task, and when you hear him, turn around and flash him with your flashlight to send him away for a while. Speaking of the task, this section is divided into 12 minigames, and the minigames consist of pushing blocks into their color-coded areas, dodging bullets, going through mazes, and collecting power. All we have to do is play the minigames and flash Rowan, and that's it. Halfway through finishing, Rowan becomes angry and now moves to the other side after getting flashed once. And the minigames get harder as sometimes they'll be combined with each other, like moving through a maze while dodging bullets in 20 seconds or something. This section of the game is one of the first times that getting an S rank seems like complete garbage, since before recording I was getting fast times but still no S ranked, and after some trial and error for around an hour or two, I have finally figured it out. Instead of doing the minigames in the same place twice like I was doing, you have to do them each once, then go back and do them again. It doesn't sound like it makes much sense, but hopefully the footage on screen helps explain it better than I do. There's also this really long minigame, the one where you push boxes into their appropriate colors, which takes forever, and in winning runs you almost never see them. So if you get 2 or 3 of these, you might as well restart if they took too long. After figuring out this small but very important part, we finish the night with a time of 3 minutes and 18 seconds and move on to Thursday. Oh, he's coming. Ah! Ooh, I forgot. I was not paying attention. Hey! Hello, Mr. Cat. Mr. Wolf. Here's this one. Oh my god. This one was probably the one that I spent the most time on, except that one. So here we go. Oh, I went the wrong way already. I should probably just give up now. And I forgot the controls, I was pressing left click. I'm flubbing everything. No, I got the wrong one! I gotta restart now! Damn it, you gotta do all of them in order. It's so dumb, I hate that. Okay, I think I got it. I think that's it. Come on. Yeah! Alright, here we go. That was good. Okay. Whew! That's a tough one. That's definitely a tough one. That'll get you... If you don't know everything about this game already, that is a tough one. Thursday night requires 45 happiness, and to get an S rank, we need to beat it in 4 minutes or under. However, this night is where things take another turn, except this time it is in the mechanics. While watching the other nights, you may have noticed that I never said anything about the camera system, other than that Charlie and Mother Moose move through them to get to your office, but I never said you should watch them. This is because there's an obvious cue when they reach your office through the vent noise, as well as the obvious sound when they come in. So you may have been wondering what the point of the cameras are, and that is where the developer thought of this clever solution. This night introduces Rowan Rat, the animatronic from earlier in the post-shift minigame, and with him comes the usefulness of the camera system. He will start in the middle camera, where he will randomly move to any camera except the one he started at, and this is when you can see the alternative screen on the camera system. And when he moves to a different room, the square will turn red, and that corresponds to the camera with the same name, and we have to move to that camera and shock it. Again, I know it might not sound like it makes sense, so I hope the footage on screen makes it easier to understand. This one animatronic puts a rift into the strategy that I have been using, because I can't just fully send the Pal Percy and need to check the cameras for Rowan. It definitely increases the amount of time it takes to do all of those steps. Not to mention the new poodle that was added, Tim, who will appear with a squeak like the other two and can be noticed by the icon on top of the camera in the HUD, and we need to look for him on the cameras, stare at him, and he will go away. However, if we don't do this in time, he disables our camera, making us completely vulnerable to Rowan if we don't finish the Pal Percy in time. As for the strategy, it's pretty much just an updated version of the sentence trap, but instead of just fully sending the Pal Percy, I occasionally check the camera, but only in the square screen, to see if Rowan has moved to another camera, which makes it so much easier, as well as quickly looking through and learning all the locations of Tim in each camera and staring at him to quickly put the camera away and continue the Pal Percy. And that's all there is to it. We get 45 happiness, and we are done with this section. In this post-shift task, we need to repair Farmer Felix after seeing him fall over like a cartoon character. To do this, we have to get to the back of his head and perform a bunch of mini-games to fix him. One where we place the colored gears where they go, one where we match more numbers, one where we spin a crank, and one where we place Simon Says. We do this all while exiting his head when we hear a loud bang sound that sounds like this, and clicking on the poodles, which if not dealt with, will remove a part of Felix, and if they remove enough, we die. To get to the S rank in this part, not only do we have to beat the whole night in the time of 4 minutes, but we also have to fix the parts in this specific order. And that's about it. All that's left is the games themselves. To finish the gear one quickly, just stack gears and put them down. To finish the one with matching numbers, just click and hold whatever number is closer to the other number. And I know that sounds weird, but I hope I can show it better than I can say it. Finally, just spin the crank quickly, but not too quick, and play Simon Says as fast as possible. This might not be the most precise way to explain it, but it worked for me, as I finished it with a time of 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and I'm done with Thursday. Now, it's time for the last day of our shift. Alright, Thursday night. Let's do this. Just gotta do one. Oh, already. You're smiling. You're so happy. I'm giving him treats. Overtime. Man, everybody loves overtime. I wouldn't know. I don't have a job. What? They didn't make a noise.
Success.
Man, I really shot in the dark for that one. Come on, that has to be it. Yes! Okay, I did it right. I was so scared that I accidentally did it wrong and I clicked on the wrong one. This night is pretty much the same as Thursday, but everyone is close to their max AI value, which I will assume is 20. But I'm not exactly sure what it is on it this night, but it essentially means that they're extremely active, which is a problem for us since we need to finish it as fast as possible. This night requires us to get 50 happiness as well as to finish the entire night in 7 minutes. Fortunately, I found a few quirks in the game that will prove to be useful. Like I found the animatronics don't like to stack on top of each other in ways that are unfair. For example, Percy cannot attack at the same time as Mother Moose, since that would be unfair since you can't defend yourself against Percy while keeping the camera or Pal Percy up. And I found later in the attempts of this night that the minigames on the Pal have actual value, which is what I said earlier if you remember. This means that instead of doing all 3 in a row, I found out that you can do the last 2 a couple of times, then catch the treats to quickly refresh them, which have the most value of happiness given in a single night. And so we do this cycle until we get to 50. After this, we get a short cutscene that leads to the post-night minigame. For this task, what we have to do is extremely simple. All we need to do is open Percy's chest and do a few minigames and repair him, just like Farmer Felix. We have to turn some knobs to the right color, press squares as soon as they turn green, and flip some switches in them. After that, we finish repairing the battery and the task is over. But the battery malfunctions, and Nick is tasked with finding another one, or finding a substitute. After remembering about his pal Percy, he inserts it into Percy and calls it job well done. The pal Percy is accepted, and the credits roll. This was honestly one of the coolest fan games I have ever played, and one of the most creative ones too. I really love the challenge of having to get used to every single part of this game and try to find my own strategies to pull through it. I would be lying if I said that this game wasn't hard. In fact, I did spend a lot of time in this game trying to win. As much as I wouldn't like to admit it, yeah, I did spend like a few hours on this challenge, but I had fun with it. But I digress. Still, this is one of the coolest I've played of all time. I would honestly put it up there with Tycoon Sons, since that game was also fantastic. Okay, so this section works a little differently than the other nights. For one, the environment has completely changed, as now we're in the supply closet instead of the office. And now we have to turn off the power to the whole building to ward off Pal, the new version of Percy, as he is fused with the Pal Percy to stop us from leaving. And second, now we have completely new threats that are all added in 5 charges, which I will call phases for the rest of this section, and we still have a Pal Percy to deal with along with some new mini games on it. This part of the video might be a little fast or hazy, and that's because I don't want to spend too much time on each individual phase. So without further ado, we start with the first phase. This first part of the night is more to get used to the new Pal Percy and camera system, and to introduce the new main threat, Pal. Pal will become shown on the TV screens in the closet, and when he does, we have to go find him on the cameras and find the thing he wants, click on it, and he'll go away. If we take too long to do either, we die. Something I figured out is that the item will always be on the 4th camera that he is not in. So if we find them on the cameras, we click on the 4 different cameras, and the item will always be on the last one. Tamaterrorz is a lot like Tat from the few nights, in that if we take too long to complete a mini game, he will grow from the Pal Percy and kill us, so we have to constantly be doing the Pal Percy's mini games in order to not die to him. The strategy here is a lot like Monday through Wednesday's Send It Strat, and that's it. Each phase is separated from 25 happiness, which is a total of 125 happiness throughout the entire section, so after getting 25 happiness, we go on to phase 2. This night reintroduces Tim, the camera disabling poodle from earlier, but instead of disabling our camera when he shows up, he will reverse the controls on the Pal Percy, and if he stays for a little longer, he randomizes the controls on the camera system. All we have to do is just smash the cart that the section introduces into him, and he will stop. This night also introduces Tamaterrorz, who will make his way through the cameras, and when he reaches a side camera, he will charge down with directional audio that sounds like this. All we need to do is hold the cart on whichever side he is coming from for a bit, or we die. For this phase, the Send It Strat will still work, as I figured out that it's not that hard to play with reverse controls on the Pal Percy, so if Tim shows up, I can just leave him and keep doing the Pal Percy. However, when Pal appears on the TV, I finish the minigame if I can, hit the poodle, and deal with Pal, since the camera is randomizing is really hard to deal with. After that, we get 25 more happiness and move on to the next phase. Phase 3 introduces Tamaterrorz, who will start in the middle camera and make a noise when he moves that sounds like this. When this plays, we need to find whichever camera he's moved to and shock it in order to send him away or we die. This also introduces a new attack from Pal, which allows him to do either the camera attack or this one. He will begin running down the hallway and toward the door in non-directional audio that sounds like this. And we have to click and lock the door before he reaches it. And that's it. I keep using the Send It Strat, deal with Tamaterrorz when he moves as quick as I can, and gain the 25 happiness that I need. Hey, remember that really annoying poodle who would disable the cameras if we didn't stare at him for like 12 seconds? Well, he makes a bit of a return through Tat. When he shows up, Tat will start blurring our view a little bit, making himself known, and all we have to do is go through the cameras, find him, stare at him, and if we don't do this fast enough, he will disable the carts, making us vulnerable to Tamaterrorz if he starts coming down the hall. The other threat added is Tamaterrorz, and they will start surrounding our screen on the sides, and all we have to do is flick them off to make them go away, but if we let too many on our screen, we die. This phase, we have to change up the Send It Strat a little bit, as now we have Tat to look through the cameras for, since he is a big problem, as well as dealing with Tamaterrorz when he appears. Also, the song for this section is fantastic, coupled with the fact that Pal is now laughing as the song goes on, which makes it really cool. And with 25 more happiness, we now move on to Phase 5. After Pal comes off the screen and laughs at us one more time, he now gets a new attack that is honestly really cool. He will come down from the top of his screen and laugh, indicating that he's there, and he will play a little game. He will have 3 cups, and we need to pick the right cup that has a ball after they get shuffled around a bit and he goes away. If we pick the wrong cup or take too long, we die. Along with this new attack comes Tot, and when she appears on the TV screens, we need to click on her to make her go away, otherwise she'll disable the camera system entirely, and we are pretty vulnerable to pretty much every attack. And with 25 more happiness, we complete the Pal Percy and begin the final assault. Phase 6 is pretty much just Phase 5, but with the AI tweaked a little higher on every animatronic, as well as a 60-second timer as sort of a stressful final stretch that once you've gotten the hang of is an easy, just a wait a minute minigame. And after countless minutes, lots of minigames, slamming carts and desks, we are finally done with the night and the whole game. But we aren't done yet. That's right, after finishing Friday morning, the ending cutscene plays where our boss basically saves us from Pal by killing him, and the credits roll. But that's not why we're here, no. I don't know if you noticed when I said how long we need to beat this whole entire thing. We have to beat Friday night and Friday morning in 7 minutes. That's right, the section I've seen people take up to half an hour on, we need to beat in under 7 minutes. This night almost broke me, and each time I played, I kept getting drained and drained of my mental and physical strength. But I thought, what's the big deal? Surely I can be done quickly, in maybe a few hours if need be. What could go wrong? I played this night for around 8 entire hours. And because you have to beat both the main night and this section in order to get the rank, I had to keep playing both of the night and the morning sections over and over again. In the middle of it, around 5 hours in, I was debating on just quitting and recording something else, like another highlight video. But after a bit of encouragement, I kept trying. Eventually though, I thought I finally got it when I did both parts in a good amount of time, and when I added together the times, this happened. If this isn't it, I'm walking. I got it! Okay. A+, woo! This was heartbreaking, but I knew that I was close enough to the point where it might be possible, and just when I was about to give up, this happened. I'm on my knees. I'm on my hands and my knees. Please just give it to me. Go on. Oh my god, I did it! Oh my god, I did it! Ooh. Oh my god. Oh my god. That was the fastest I've ever done either one. Let's go. Oh my god. God. With a time of 6 minutes and 34 seconds, I had finally beat the entirety of Friday and got the S rank with one of the fastest times I've had but also seen. And finally, we obtain our S sticker and are finally done with the challenge. With all that I said at the end there, I would still be lying if I said I didn't have fun with this challenge. As I played through it, it was one of those games that are just so good that you want to come back later when you're not doing anything, since this is really just a good game in general. With all that being said though, it looks like that's all the time I have left to say about the challenge. Let me know down in the comments if you want me to play a specific FNAF fan game, or maybe even one of the original FNAF games, and what kind of challenges I could do in those games. Or maybe even another challenge in this game. Like maybe this game but no sound? Wink, 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 wink. This was a lot of fun to play and put together in a video, so I wouldn't mind doing it again. And all I have left to say is leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe, and I'll see you all in another video. Peace.